tack so that you can tie in good to them, both coming off of them and tying into them. Once you get it tacked up, do a little inspection with the light. Wasn't able to really get very good shots here, but you want to make sure that you penetrated and grind out the areas that you didn't. You might even have to redo a tack before the inspector comes over to look at it. All right, watch Andrew now as he pushes that keyhole right into where he feathered that tack. So going to push it up, still keyholing. Right there, the keyhole closed, and he's going to keep on filling a little bit to avoid like a fisheye, even if he has to feather again. Same thing on this side. Coming up to the tack, make sure to keep that keyhole going and push the keyhole well into the tack. You finally close it up, then keep on filling for a few more strokes. You might notice that arc strike there inside the bevel. If you're going to have an arc strike, it's best to have them in there. You want to keep them all inside there and not outside on the pipe. You could take a file to that and remove it, but since this is 6010, not going to hurt anything. But you want to keep it jammed in there pretty tight. You're almost trying to, in your mind's eye, weld this root pass from the inside out. For this demonstration, we welded both bottom halves first. Usually it doesn't matter. Sometimes there are requirements though. So again, read that WPS or ask whoever's administering the welding test. Do a little quick inspection. Make sure you got the root pass in there and everything tied in like it needs to be. Tip for when that keyhole just gets out of hand. This comes from a previous video I did a good while back, but I think it's applicable here. Sometimes that keyhole you're too hot. You've estimated your amperage wrong and the keyhole just gets too big. It's good to stop instead of just keep fighting it. Sometimes it's good to stop and then restart just ahead of it. Get everything going good again, and then what happens there is now you have more mass, more heat sink, and then you come back with a grinder or a file, if it's pipe, half round file, and you feather it just like this, and then long arc it a little bit going in there, heat it up, get it keyholing again, push that keyhole up, and get everything tied in there. It's much easier to fix a little too large a keyhole like this than it is to just keep fighting a keyhole sometimes. That's been my experience anyway. On a welding test like this, sometimes a grinder is allowed, sometimes it's not. Sometimes they just give you a half round file and that's it. If you're going to use a grinder, you definitely want to be really careful and avoid getting grinding scratches like this outside the bevel. We didn't really have the right grinding wheel here for this video. We're trying to get by with a flap disc and use the rigid part of it just to kind of clean up that root pass. But I noticed this when editing, so I thought I